What's up, everybody? Jeff Sentell, Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live. Man, have we got a show for everybody out there tonight. The show of all shows. Of course, you'll get the recruiting talk. You'll get that kind of, what's going on there, Jeff? Talk. You will get the latest in Georgia recruiting information. We'll talk about the team. We'll talk about that Missouri game on Saturday night, 7:30. We will have our two big-time giveaways from Kroger. You'll have the regular Dawg Nation trivia contest that takes place. That's the How About Them groceries, which will net somebody a $50 gift card. And then we will have a very special treat for you tonight. I'm going to call it the granddaddy of all giveaways, Keith Jackson style, I guess, for Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live. We're going to have 2 tickets to that big game brought to you by those good folks at Kroger as well. 2 tickets to that big game between Georgia and Florida in Jacksonville on October the 28th. We will have a special Dawg Nation trivia question for that one. How we're going to hand that one out is everybody that gets the correct answer will be entered into a drawing. We will accept all correct answers up until noon on Thursday. We will then randomize all the correct answers, and somebody out of that lot, somebody out of that lucky list of Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live viewers is going to get 2 tickets to that Wednesday night, to that Saturday 3:30 p.m. CBS game in Jacksonville on the banks of the St. Johns River. Some might call it a cocktail party. Lots of stuff to get to, and also we'll have our regular six-pack game where we kind of fly through everything fast and furious about UGA recruiting. Once again, I want to thank everybody for Jordan Browning. I wish I could tell you it's club level right by McGarity. Not quite sure on those tickets. Hope everybody's having themselves a good Wednesday. They've had a good week so far. I'm sure everybody's kind of been smiling at least since Friday's news. Quick reset of everything. I hadn't talked to you guys since Wednesday when that big news was coming down the track. First and foremost, let me start things over. Give me a if you feel so inclined, how about a like on your feed, and also sharing this if you feel so inclined. If you got somebody that needs 2 tickets or $50 of groceries or needs to learn a lot about UGA football recruiting, that's what that share button is all about, folks. And I would like to thank everybody for joining us and another great Wednesday Night Live show. First things I want to know is tell me what everybody did. Did you guys take off work? Did you find creative ways to work from home? Did you invent an emergency root canal? Tell me if you did anything unique to watch and stay plugged to your phones about Justin Fields. And then maybe, did you do anything special or unique? How did you celebrate the news of Justin J. Rock Fields choosing the University of Georgia? I guess I'm going to say that one more time. Justin J. Rock Fields choosing the University of Georgia. I've been told that creates spontaneous outbursts of the like button. Also, guys, let me know where you're from. Let me know if you are a first timer here on this board as well. And I also want to know, I need some help, guys. Let's say I got a time here. I'm going to kind of check the time. It's 8:37 right now. We're going to go with our Kroger gift card at 8:45. We will go with our Dawg Nation Granddaddy of them all big game giveaway. I'm going to say at 8:55. So we got a while. I usually spend an hour with you guys, but that's what we're going to do. If somebody can help me watch the clock like Larry Munson did back in the days of yours, just throw out a kind of be my floor director here on Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live. When 8:45 runs by, say, hey, Jeff, time for the gift card. And then you say at 8:55, say, Jeff, time for the tickets. Everybody hang out. I want everybody to let everybody know what's going on with all that. But one thing I need to let you guys know, and I don't want to put a damper on this because we've been doing this stuff since April of 2016, I believe. We've been having a great time. It's really good to be able to engage with the audience like this. But last week we had somebody that I thought kind of went into the creep zone. I won't go into details, but you can kind of go back on the feed and figure it out. That person has been blocked. But here's where I need your help. I'm trying to answer as many questions. I'm trying to get all these games and kind of features off the floor, so sometimes I can't catch every weird comment because I'm kind of scrolling through. We usually average about 2,000 comments over the last month on this show, so anybody kind of sees somebody chatting, acting like they don't belong. Let's do the group dynamic here. It's a democracy. Everybody, I'm sure a lot of people watch Game of Thrones. Just start throwing out shame, 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 and give me the screen name of somebody that's not acting their age. I went back and reviewed the tape last week, and I was not pleased by some of the things I saw. So we want to try, and I need your guys' help in order to make sure that we keep the creep zone out of this Wednesday Night Live so everything is great for everybody. All right, that's enough adult stuff and everything for that. Let's get rolling. Questions are always welcome. Josh Logan was driving, looking at his news feed, watched him play Sprayberry. William David Josie made Justin Fields on Madden when he committed. Yeah, Jake Frigo, man, I totally agree, man. Don't mess with a man's family. Adam Hicks, I love this. I pressure washed for a painting company. I honestly took my chemical intake piece apart and like it was broken and sat in the van working on it while Dawg Nation was live on Facebook. Adam, I've got a t-shirt for that one, man. I'm going to find you a t-shirt for that. That is a great take. Great take. Matt Cook, good question. How big of an MLB prospect is Fields? Should he be worried he gets a ridiculous offer and decides to go the MLB route? Well, he probably will not go the MLB route unless he plays baseball in the spring for Harrison. I don't know if he showed enough in the Perfect Games Showcase. The staff at SEC Country and some of the reporters I know, I've reached out to a scout I know and gave me a pretty good, honest read on Justin. They say really athletic. His tools are a little raw, as they should be. Great foot speed. He plays shortstop for Harrison. They don't think he's a shortstop yet at the high school, at the pro level. Outfielder with that kind of 6'6" speed in the 60 is very much above average speed for a major league player. Maybe with that big arm and maybe with those legs, he could be a great corner outfielder. 6'3", 221, he brings a big bat. He's, to me, this is just kind of my thoughts with kind of being the filter for a lot of information I'm getting. And I did have the experience of kind of going through this once by talking to maybe some of the same scouts that I knew when Jamias Winston was coming out of Birmingham and Hueytown and kind of faced a similar thought. Winston was the type of guy that would have probably went the first 2 or 3 rounds. He was an Under Armour All-American in both football and baseball. If he would have made himself available as strictly a baseball player, I think he probably would have went within the first 35, 40 picks. The year he came out, he chose to play baseball at Florida State and also play football at Florida State. He redshirted, and then the rest right there is history. One scenario I see happening with Justin is if he does play baseball, one organization, they might choose to draft him, late round pick, invest some chunk of money in him, but basically that would be just to park his draft rights for a few years. That would give a Major League Baseball franchise the chance to own his draft rights until his junior year of college. And I think for that, Justin would have to give them maybe a month and a half of his time during the summer league, during a short season or extended spring training, just so he could polish up those tools and the organization can see what they have. Yeah, Steve Jeffco, that's another thing. I've heard that his father even expressed that to me. Justin even expressed that to me, that maybe he works out on the side with the Georgia baseball team. Mike and Melissa, good question. Georgia finishes in recruiting. I've kind of got them trending right now, second or third. Trey Hill is visiting Georgia this weekend, Brian Thomas Kreider. Wow, Matt McKinney. Brisbane, Australia. How does Tennessee's mess affect Daniel Follett? I tell you what, most people with Daniel, especially with the situation with Tennessee right now, that is a situation that is very much fluid. I would doubt to see anybody commit to Tennessee anytime in the near future. Paul Cox, James Crump, how are you doing, guys? Justin Hendricks, I just answered that question, so great. Ramon Torbio. I tell you what, Trevor Trout to me becomes a name that a lot of Georgia fans should really kind of start thinking about harder and harder. Trevor Trout does have a lot of true interest in Georgia. Troy Tucker, those chances with Adam Anderson are quite strong. Nathaniel Halsey, I do feel that Georgia is in a great place with James Cook. His question is will the running back Cook be coming also? Keith Wilson wants to know, how do you get a job keeping up with recruiting? Because that's what I do every day when you have time, man. I tell you what, Keith Wilson, maybe one day when we might be asking for help, man, with all these guys that are committing to Georgia. It's becoming very, very hard for one guy to kind of get his arms wrapped around everything. Daniel Beard, I do think that most about everyone will sign that's committed that will sign with Georgia in December. Earl Freeman, how are you, sir? Wants to know a surprise recruit that UGA could land that we haven't heard much about. Well, I try to do a good job of making you guys seem really informed. Christian Barmore, I'm sure you guys know that name by now. Alante Taylor in Tennessee. That's the Tennessee commitment that's getting a lot of interest from Notre Dame, Ohio State recently. That's a name. I'm sure you guys know about Gilbert Frierson. Everybody knows about Tyreek Johnson. Theo Weiss Jr., the nation's number 3 receiver out of Texas for 2019. And guys, Georgia and Kirby are trying to do the unthinkable. What's probably harder than 3 consecutive 5-star recruits? And I'm talking about Jacob Eason. I'm talking about Jake Fromm, and then I'm talking about Justin Fields. Well, what's harder than that? Well, Georgia is trying to corner the perimeter, I guess, on receivers in 2019. The Bulldogs already have 5-star Jaden Hazelwood committed, nation's number 1 receiver. They also have Dominic Blaylock, 5-star, nation's number 2 receiver committed. And they're going after Mr. Weiss. Theo is a nation's number 3 receiver for 2019. And wouldn't that be something for Mr. Fields to have the nation's top 3 receivers at his disposal for 2019? Olivia Brown wants to know about Jamari Sawyer. I saw where Jamari Sawyer, some news came out about Jamari Sawyer finally that he wanted to make public today. Jamari has moved up his commitment date to December the 15th. That's something that I'd kind of kept in my back pocket for a while. Ace Cranford, I do think some of the Justin 8 have already committed to the program. Let me see. Got a time check here. Time check, 8:47. Got to make sure I do this. 8:47. Like I said before, I try to stay on, keep the trains on time with our show. First giveaway of the day. This is our Kroger How About Them groceries. $50 gift card. Quick ground rules. If you've won something from us in the next within the last 60 days, bow out. Just kind of keep your trivia guru knowledge to yourself. Also, the first person to give me the first and last names of all the players I'm looking for here will get a $50 gift card from Kroger. I will seek you out after the broadcast, and I'll look for the first person that had the correct answer, but with the red dot and the timestamp next to their name. All right, guys, here we go. First giveaway up. This is our How About Them groceries. The question this week involves the Sick'em 17. That's the hashtag for Georgia's much ballyhooed recruiting class in 2017. There have been 3 members of that class that have started a game for Georgia this year in their true freshman seasons. Give me the names of those 3 guys, and give me the names of those 3 guys in order of when they started for Georgia. Little bit of a teaser there. I want the 3 names of the 3 Sick'em 17 freshmen who have started for Georgia, and I want to know the order in which those 3 guys started as well. First person to get that right will get that $50 gift card from Kroger. A little bit of degree of difficulty on that one, a little bit. I kind of wanted to kind of bring the hammer a little bit for you guys today because we do have a lot of people on this feed, and we want this to be one of our better shows. Hope everybody's rolling with that. Andy Dalrymple. Shame on me for not believing Snoop Dogg was that Fields Was coming to UGA. I tell you what, David Metcalf, who's going to flip? I got two flip candidates for you. Maybe the biggest flip candidate in my mind would be Otis Reese. That's the 4-star inside linebacker, outside linebacker for Lee County. The other guy that may have Georgia on his mind, he's not sure if he's visiting yet this week or not, would be Robert Cooper out of South Gwinnett. Faye Tharp Lacey. I like that. I'm from Warner Robins. That might be kind of the catchphrase for a lot of people from that area. Chewy. Do I think Fromm should stay in as the starter? Yes, I do. Somebody asked about the polo shirts. Thanks for asking. You can go to shopdawgnation.com. Shopdawgnation.com. I think this one's about $49. You do get free shipping, and I believe they do have all sizes available. Dylan Brooks, how are you, man? Hepzibah, Georgia, Edwina Atwood. I had some family that lived in Hepzibah, Edwina, so thanks for joining in. I do like that, Adam Hicks. And one of the things I threw out in the beginning of the show, guys, was I wanted to know what you did to keep up with the Fields news, and I want to know what you did to maybe celebrate the Fields news, one or the other. Thinking about it, if the responses are really good, that I might make a story out of that for our site. Chad Hansen called everyone I know and explained who he is and what he means for the program. Chad Hansen, tell me a little bit more, man. What did you say to those boys of yours? What Justin Fields meant for the program? Shelton Tucker, I like that, how you threw out time for Shelton's gift card. Lots of questions. Keep them coming, guys. Jake Frigo, liking the fade, man. I appreciate that, sir. Business meeting derailed. I'm sure the gross, the amount of work that got done in the state of Georgia kind of suffered between 11 and 1 on Friday. No doubt about that. Erica Blocker LeCount. Hope everything is great down there in Riceboro, ma'am, with you and your family. Very, very nice lady and a great friend. Recruiting. Hope everybody's having fun with that. What I'm looking for there, and I'm going to keep going on that. Hope everybody's doing very, very well tonight as well. It's another Wednesday night with Dawg Nation. Can't complain about anything. Hopefully you guys can help me out as we kind of police all those police anybody that kind of acts the fool up in here, basically, is the best way to say that. Remember, guys, I've currently got 8:52 on the clock. 8:55, I'm going to throw out the big giveaway question. That's for the 2 tickets to the big game in Jacksonville, sponsored by Kroger. Remember, my trivia question today was for the first Dawg Nation trivia question. This is the one for the groceries, the $50 Kroger gift card. I wanted to know, give me the name, first and last name, of the 3 Georgia Sikkim 17 true freshmen that have started for the Bulldogs this year. First part of it, give me the name. The 3 names of the dudes that have started for Georgia as true freshmen, but I also want to know the order. I want to see them presented to me in the order in which they committed to Georgia. So you got one guy, you got the second guy, and you got the third guy. Give me the names of those starters, and if it was in the same game, I will probably look for you to tell me which side of the ball was on the field first for those 2 guys. Quentin Truitt, I like that. He was in Cancun when he read the news, and he went out on his balcony and screamed, "We got Fields." Quentin, where were you in Cancun, man? Which hotel zone were you in? Tio Willingham has a question. Is Owen Popo really trending towards Georgia? I tell you what, wherever you read that from, wherever you heard that from, they're probably not wrong. Scotty Kirkpatrick won he bought the Gator Hater t-shirt, and I've been getting a lot of comments here in Columbus. Thanks for that, guys. And I got the time now. It is 8:54. Here's what we're going to do. This is our big giveaway for tonight. I've structured this question for one simple reason. It is a way to take a look back at what all we've done here so far on Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Lives. And it's also a way for everybody to get in on the action, to everybody that's really a part of this kind of Wednesday Night Live family that we have here, this Wednesday Night Live thing that we have going on here. And if you've been a true part of this, you'd be able, I think you'd be able to qualify for the drawing. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw out this question, and I want everybody that has an answer, if it's correct, you'll be entered in a drawing. We will take all correct answers up until noon tomorrow. That's noon on Thursday, October the 12th. And then we'll put all those names in a randomizer, and we will pluck out the one person that will win a pair of tickets to that big game in Jacksonville. That is a huge event for Georgia fans, the possibility of the Bulldogs being 7-0. And I tell you what, if you guys win their tickets, I'm sure I can find some other things in the prize vault for you. Maybe we can get you into the Dawg Nation invasion as well. Here's the question. For two tickets to the big game brought to you by Kroger, I want to know this. I want you to tell me, what is your favorite Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live memory from all of our broadcasts here together? That is a little bit of a question that is universal. It is very open-ended. So if you've got a memory, if you've got a favorite Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live moment, what would be your magic moment if we were like the NCAA tournament? Your one shining moment for you. We've had interviews with prospects. We've had giveaways. We've had the WD-40 moments where my door has been squeaking. We've had a lot of people. We've had former players show up, like Troy Sadowski. We've had player parents show up quite a lot. Sometimes they answer a few questions as well. Tell me what your favorite, could be funny, could be wild, could be Jeff's face freezing up, could be the feed freezing up. Tell me your favorite moment, most memorable favorite moment from Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live so far. We've been doing this since about April of 2016. One of these shows every Wednesday night, except for I think maybe 1 week where I was on vacation, maybe another vacation week at the most, but pretty simple rules. Give me your Dawg Nation Wednesday Night Live favorite memory, shining moment if you will. Leave that comment below in the comments field, and everybody that answers that question with something besides like, hey, tonight when Jeff gave away tickets, that would probably be the most copy off your neighbor way of doing it. But if you give me a genuine memory, you give us a genuine memory, we won't be too strict with it. Everybody that does so reflects a little bit of it on their time on Wednesday Night Live, gets a Dawg Nation entered into the drawing for 2 tickets to the big game on October the 28th. All right, that's enough sappiness on that front. Let's kind of jump into one of our favorite parts of the broadcast. I'm going to call this our 6-pack. That's what we always do. It's our 6-pack. I'm going to throw out 6 questions. There are things maybe you should know or you maybe should not know. And we will during our show, we're going to do this right now. 6-pack. I'm going to throw out a question. You guys give me your responses. These should be really rapid fire things that will teach everyone a little bit about Georgia recruiting, a little bit about the players that are going to Georgia, and also a little bit of a preview or a tease for Saturday's big game with Missouri. First question, I want to know 6-pack time. What is Georgia's all-time record with Missouri, with Mizzou, with the Tigers? Haven't been playing a lot. I think the first meeting was 1960 in Miami. Been playing pretty regularly since Missouri joined the conference, though, and became a part of the SEC East. got to remember that currently amongst that all-time record that Missouri is actually 1-1 all-time at Sanford Stadium. They've won one and they've lost one, and I think for Georgia fans, both of those games were pretty much abysmal. One of them, Missouri won. I think it was 41-20, which really put a damper on that season. And then the last one was in 2015 at Sanford Stadium, and that was just an atrocious game. Georgia won 9-6 in what I think made the folks from South Georgia want to pick up and leave probably midway through the third quarter. Second question. Looking for that. If anybody didn't get that right, the all-time record right there, Georgia is 4-1 all-time against Missouri. Second question is, there is a nickname, if you've been reading your Sentell's Intel and your stories on DawgNation.com, what is the nickname that Justin Fields' father, Pablo Fields, what's the nickname he has always used for his son, Justin? You guys might want to get used to it. Maybe that will catch on among Bulldog Nation, among Dawg Nation in Sanford Stadium. If you don't know that answer, Justin Fields' nickname, what's the nickname his dad, Pablo Fields, has been calling Justin for forever? That nickname right there is J-Rock. J-Rock, that's his nickname. Third question, how many, you guys better get this, how many five-star prospects are currently publicly committed to Georgia? How many five-star prospects are currently publicly committed to Georgia? You do not need to use all your fingers and toes on this one, but you might eventually have to use all your fingers and toes on this one. Yeah, I believe the correct answer there for the first edition, counting last year's game, is 5-1. 5-1 to go back to the first question. There are currently, my question was how many five-stars are currently publicly committed to Georgia? That's in the 2018 and 2019 classes, and that answer is 5. You have Zamir White and you have Justin Fields in 2018, and then you have Nolan Smith, Dominic Blaylock, and Jaden Hazelwood in 2019. So the current answer is 5. A neat little segue, side detour if you want to know about something interesting about Georgia football. We talked about this week amongst our staff. Currently, Georgia has the nation's #1 quarterback and the nation's #1 running back committed for 2018. That's quite a haul. Somebody asked in our newsroom on our staff, they wanted to know, has that ever happened? Well, yes, in the modern history of recruiting, which goes back to about the year 2000, and I do consult that great 24/7 Sports online database for that. That thing is superb. Helps a guy like me really do my work, especially for those historical aspects that I haven't been following Georgia recruiting since the year 2000, guys. But if you consult that, you crunch the numbers, you'll find that only one time in history has another school signed both the nation's #1 running back and the nation's #1 quarterback. That was back in 2004. Oklahoma did it, and that was Adrian Peterson. Everybody knows that name. The other quarterback in that group was Rhett Bomar, which kind of shows you a whole lot about recruiting and nation's #1 overall prospects. Everybody knows one of those two guys. Everybody knows all day Adrian Peterson, AP. Just got traded to the Cardinals this week, but very few people could tell me what Rhett Bomar is doing right now. Keep going. We're on the next question is, how many decommits have there been in the 2018 class? Class is building, stock is soaring, everything's looking great. How many guys had decommitted from Georgia's 2018 rare breed, #rare breed class? The answer right there was, there's actually been, I'm going to let you kind of questions go in for another maybe 5 seconds. Question again is, how many decommitments have there been for Georgia total in the 2018 class? And that answer is three right there. So there's 3 guys right there in that class. The next one involves NFL draft history, a quick comparison between Missouri and Mizzou and Georgia. The question here is which program, let me back that up, which program, Missouri or Georgia, has had more first-round draft picks, NFL first-round draft picks this decade? Mizzou or Georgia? Choose your side on that one, and I will give you the correct answer in just a second. Next question. Oh, let me answer that one. That answer right there was actually you guys might want to shoot the messenger for this one, but actually those Tigers from Mizzou have had more first-round picks this decade than the University of Georgia. Mizzou has had 6 first-round draft picks this decade. The University of Georgia has had 5. So Georgia's on the losing side there in that comparison. And there you go. Those are your 6. That is your 6-pack for today. I'm going to throw out that trivia question one more time. Not the first one, because I see somebody's already gotten the first one correct. The second answer, which is the one everybody I hope tuned in for today. It's a little bit of a nostalgia question. It's for those 2 tickets to the big game in Jacksonville. What we're looking for there is we're trying to kind of capture a few memories of your time, all the Wednesday night lives we've spent together chatting about all things Georgia football on Wednesday night. And I wanted you to give me maybe an easy open-ended answer, but it's one I think that kind of gets everybody involved in the drawing. I want you to tell me your favorite Dawg Nation Wednesday night live memory from all the many broadcasts we've had. We've interviewed some players. We've interviewed some commits. We've interviewed player parents. We've kind of been all up and down. We have had some squeaky WD-40 moments, and we've had sometimes I think I swallowed a fly when I was on my back porch. But I want you to just share maybe what you thought was your maybe fondest Dawg Nation Wednesday night live memory. That is what we're talking about today with all the giveaways. So we've went through the grocery card trivia question. We've went through our 6-pack. We've also went through our Kroger How About Them Groceries trivia question. All ducks are in the water. All bases are covered. So now the rest of this time we're just going to talk straight Georgia recruiting. We'll take as many questions as you guys have. I will give a preference towards first-timers as I do it always. William David Josie, that's kind of funny, man. But yeah, they've actually had a bunch. You think about their defensive linemen, just for starters, man. That Charles Harris guy last year, he was a definite savage that probably could have worn some golden shoulder pads if he was on the Georgia program. The correct answer from one of those earlier questions was Georgia's actually had 3 decommitments off the 2018 class. I wonder if they're kind of scratching their heads now. One of them might actually recommit and come back to the fold. That's Adam Anderson. The second one is Max Ray, the U.S. Army All-American that's going to Ohio State. And then the third one would be Donovan Georges, who I do talk to, and he said he still thinks about Georgia a lot. Cliff Cawley, thanks, man. Pete Ellis, Georgia. Justin Fields will be in Athens this weekend. He's probably going to be in Athens every weekend there's a game. Neil, Landon, Jackson. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Can I get a quick sound check? I want to make sure. Neil usually knows what he's talking about. He's a stand-up guy, so please let me know. Please let me know if everybody's audio's coming through okay. Chris Little, yep, there you go. I kind of showed some cards there. Brian Dale, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, Max Ray is a very good dude, man. No doubt about that. Brad held. Favorite is when the internet is bad. It starts to freeze, and when I start back up, my shadow is not behind me, but on the other side of the screen. Oh, or in your WD-40 for your doors. Man, I appreciate that. Jared Colbert, I tell you what, that Notorious Snow Cone interview, he's always very good, man. And when he probably gets on the field at Georgia, he will really he'll really tear it up, man, because he will be a important addition. Demetrius Smith wants to know, what game do I think Georgia will have 3 running backs go for 100 yards or more? Has that ever happened? I think this will be the game, Demetrius, that Georgia can actually have 3 running backs go for over 100 yards or more. Kelly Stanley, thanks, man. And I tell you what, I think Dean Lawrence brings up a good show memory as well. I don't think we've ever had a better backdrop or better scenery, no doubt about that, when we were in Oregon. Funny stuff, guys. Funny stuff, guys. Getting to some thoughts. Let me get back to my questions. Looks like some my Facebook on my iPad just popped out. Let me see. Things to think about while I'm waiting for my feed to pop back up there. Let's see. Guys that I know will be in town on Saturday. Let's see. Robert Cooper is not sure about whether or not he will be in town as of yet. That's the big defensive tackle from South Gwinnett. Trey Hill tells me he's going to be in Georgia this weekend on another unofficial. Hope everybody saw the blog that went up this morning. Kind of gave you the juice of everything that I understand about the current situation about Trey Hill, and I don't know if it's been out there a lot. Kind of really all that stuff that you think you might know. I kind of get the perception from a lot of Georgia fans that they worry about Trey Hill because he might see guys like Solomon Kinley, Justin Schaefer, Notori Johnson, Warren Erickson, the chance there with Jamari Sawyer, and think that that's a crowded depth chart at Georgia, and he might go to a path of least depth chart resistance at other places like maybe Auburn, like maybe Florida State, like maybe Clemson. Just wanted to set the record really clearly about that really there's 4 factors for Trey Hill. One of those is his character development. The other one is his which one will renew and preserve his church faith and his community faith. He's looking for a good church for the Hill family. Where he will worship and where they will worship with him is just as important to him finding a place of comfort as any weight room or any beautiful new recruiting facility or anything else like that. That is really important to Trey Hill and his family. The third thing would be academics. That's really big for Trey Hill. And maybe the fourth thing is it just kind of puts into perspective that the big year for Trey Hill is not 2018 or 2019. It's 2020 or 2021. I think he needs to get with a good strength coach that will reshape his body and replace maybe some of the bad weight he has with good weight, and that will also help him stay in better shape and allow him to become a tremendous leverage player. I think if that guy would be just about immovable. I was talking with a high school coach today about Georgia's potential future offensive line, and this would kind of be the one that might be protecting maybe Jake Fromm in his senior year or Justin Fields when he's really getting things going for Georgia. But you look at the pieces that would be in place, and that might be a guy like Isaiah Wilson, Notori, potentially Trey Hill, potentially Jamari Sawyer, Warren Erickson, Isaiah Wilson. You start sitting there thinking that maybe Georgia's base offensive line might look a whole lot like Max Protect. That's how really strong Georgia's future offensive line is, and those guys probably might not get touched at all. Aaron Kleppinger, question about Justin Fields and who does he want to bring to Georgia? Got a lot of names in mind there. Several flips are going to be on there as well. Jamie Goodman with a great perspective question. Which is more likely to happen? Georgia finishes outside of the top three in recruiting this year, or Georgia runs out of room to take all the 4 stars that want to commit? That's a really tough one, because that would equate these odds way up there. I think it is more likely for Georgia to run out of room to take all the 4 stars that want to commit. Stacy Goebel, your favorite commit already. Who are you talking about there, man? Want to make sure that you got the guy, we got the guy's name right. James Crump, Tyson Campbell is very good. Joshua Addington wants to know the recruit that decided to sign with USC last signing day at the last minute. That is Jamias Williams. Heck of a player. Definitely one of my favorite recruits over the last 2 or 3 years. He is playing a lot, and he is the #1 slot corner for South Carolina. John William Adams. It appears that Justin Fields will room with Kearis Jackson. Timothy E. Cuneo Sr. I think the number right now is 25. Terry Crews, I think those uniforms are hot garbage, man. James Crump, if you're asking me if you had to choose between Tyson Campbell and Tyreek Johnson, especially given Georgia's need for true cornerbacks, you would choose Tyson Campbell. I like Tyreek a lot. Tyreek is a heck of a player, but that's as simple as needs in recruiting ranking. I think Tyson Campbell is the nation's #3 corner. The normal, Michael Collum, I think the spots left for Georgia in the 2018 class, publicly to me looks like 8. Neil Landon Jackson. I tell you what, that Barkley gentleman at Penn State is a heck of a player as well. Dan Kiley brings up a good point. Would Kirby ever dump a verbal commit in favor of a better player? I know Alabama has in the past. I would have mixed feelings about that. Dan, that's kind of big-time college football, man. That's what I will say there. In the end, it's on the coach's prerogative to take the best 24, 25 players he can. Jake Frigo, that is Theo Weiss Jr. out of Texas. And he's already visited Georgia a lot, and I've spoken to him. And he visited Georgia once when he was part of the True 19 game, and he can see himself at Georgia. Jason Bunch, I tell you what, that is one of those kind of rich program problem questions is what I'd classify it. Now, man, there's nothing wrong with the question you're dropping there because everybody wants to see Georgia throw to the tight end. I think the two biggest armchair fans or bleacher complaints throughout time for Georgia is one, run the ball, Bobo, and two is throw the ball to the tight ends. I just think the way Georgia's working right now, they're feeding their receivers much more. There's a definite number one go-to receiver in Terry Godwin. Terry Godwin's playing the best ball of his life. And so you can't I think a lot of Georgia drives, and that's even what Isaac Nodis said today when he spoke to Seth Emerson, is a lot of Georgia drives have either been, we're going to pound the rock and we're going to wear this team down and go ball control, or Georgia ends up hitting a big plays. Now, you think of big plays, Georgia's hit several big plays. Javon Wims, 2 or 3 balls now to Terry Godwin. They hit the big pass to Isaac Nada as well. Georgia's made a lot of big plays on offense through the vertical passing game, and it's almost like, do you want to sit there and where do you want your calories? Do you want your calories from strawberry cherry cheesecake at the end, or do you want your calories at lunchtime from maybe too many buffalo wings? Quentin Truitt, Theo Weiss Jr. Chris Martell, I think the biggest big-time defensive tackle I've spoken to within the last 4 or 5 days that would qualify as an answer to your question would be Trevor Trout. Jay Johnson is definitely in the box. He's next to Jim Chaney. Very good offensive mind, very diverse background. I think he's helped a lot. Charles Mitchell, I think that Adam Anderson's chances to sign with Georgia have gone up considerably over the last 35 days. I especially think that Adam Anderson's chances to sign with Georgia have gone up considerably since last Friday. Colt Gaudy has a question about KJ Henry and Micah Parsons. I think that more likely to land KJ Henry. Scott Chrysler, I think you can only back count one of those guys that enroll early. Cheston Wainscott, I'm going to just say this for everybody in the back row. Them Gator uniforms look like my dog ate a Lego yesterday, and I found it this morning in the yard steaming. That's a very descriptive picture there. Jason Hathaway, first-timer. You get your first-timer privilege here. What do I think will happen with Eason when Fields comes to the team? I think it's kind of going to matter all about what Jacob Eason wants to do. I kind of wrote on our Dawg Nation message board forum today that I said it would be it would be an example of running from competition. I still believe that there's another gear left in Jacob Eason for him to find, and maybe just what he's seeing this year is going to eat at him and cause him kind of stoke those fires within to kind of become the best player he can be, and that might be another gear for Jacob Eason. I also think that I'm just going to put this in my shoes because, like, as I wrote today on the message board, it's kind of unprecedented for any school to have 5 straight 3-star quarterbacks, especially when 2 of those 5 stars have started for a long period of time in different years. My perspective on that issue would be, it would be pretty bad, or you just feel pretty bad. You'd feel for Jacob Eason if he transfers out because he wants his chance to start, but he has to sit out a year anyway in 2018, and then he sees an injury happen to Jake Fromm, kind of much in the same manner that happened to him. Knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood here. I don't want anything to happen. But football is a violent sport, and sometimes injuries do happen, especially at the quarterback spot. And all of a sudden the roles would be reversed, and Jacob Eason would be sitting there watching football on Saturdays, and Georgia would have to pull the red shirt on Justin Fields and have him play. Especially when, Jacob Eason can be very close to graduating since he enrolled early. He's a smart guy, and he could graduate in 3 years, and then he could be a part of Georgia's team in 2018, which should be a very strong football team. And then if things didn't work out for him by the end of 2018, then he could transfer wherever he wanted to as a graduate and not have to sit out anywhere. Jason, I hope I thoroughly answered your question right there. And sorry, guys, for the chomping. I have just a passion for crushed ice. If anybody else has would like to testify for I like crushed ice, please weigh in. Or crushed ice. John William Adams wants to know, when do juniors need to declare for the NFL draft so we know spaces on scholarships? I think juniors have to declare by the first week. By the first week of January. Bobby Piper, Kieris knew Justin was coming at the time he committed. This is why he got evasive when I asked Kieris who was next. Bobby, I'm glad you picked up on that. But it's funny. Kieris committed on August the 19th, and I kind of saw the vapor trail on what was happening with Justin, maybe all the way back as early as May. And that was even before he had decommitted from Penn State. Joshua Addington, does Georgia finish with a top 5 2018 class? My answer there is authoritatively, boldface, underline, exclamation point, yes. Emory David Davis, I have the number at 8, not 9. Marty Blankenship, does the mental block against Florida end this year? One thing I would say about Georgia is, yeah, their strength and conditioning is great. The way that they're performing is great. The way that they're beating the teams that they're supposed to is great. But I think the mental toughness of this team is kind of off the charts compared to previous years. I threw out a stat on Saturday because Brandon and I were talking about it before we did our Dixie Vodka postgame show. And I found out that Georgia hasn't beaten 3 consecutive SEC teams by 21 or more points since 1981. 1981. Got to go a long way back in Georgia football history to get that right. And I'm sure that is something that everybody is excited about as well. Codius Cotty Arnold, the pipeline to Grayson High is about to get real. Mr. Arnold, if you were asking me that as a true or false question, I would probably say true. John Goodrich, what player or players can push the Dogs to the #1 spot in the class rankings? Well, John, I've done the math on that, and I think that's going to be just about impossible considering who Ohio State's going to get, and then maybe the number of players that Georgia would have to drop off their board and then add to their board. I mean, you'd have to look at everybody who Georgia's in play with, and you'd have to think that they would get Jamari Sawyer, James Cook, Trey Hill, Micah Parsons, KJ and Henry. They'd have to add Tyreek Johnson. They'd have to add Channing Tindall. They'd have to add Adam Anderson, and they'd have to add and I think that would do it. That's a lot of players, though, man. You'll notice that I named more than 8 guys right there. Wayne Carroll wants to know, who are the 5 players I would most like to see commit for 2018? Yeah, I've got a new reordered top 5 biggest targets list going forward now. You remove Justin Fields from that equation. You put Jamari Sawyer clearly number 1. You move number 2 would be Adam Anderson. I think number 3 would be Tyson Campbell. Number 4 would be KJ Henry. And then number 5, the number 5 guy on that list would probably be Trevor Trout. Scotty Pittman, I tell you what, top 3 wide receivers, I actually think that is harder. The top 3 wide receivers in their country is a lot harder than the 3 back-to-back 5-star quarterbacks. Stan Scarborough, nice line. Gators' new uniforms look like a pickle. The Florida Fighting Pickles. Barry Lamy, why are we recruiting Campbell and not Surtain, the number 1 corner? They both play at our school, and UGA has history there. LSU is leading, but why not pursue both? I just think the fit there has been better with Campbell. I think Surtain has been down to Clemson, Florida State, LSU for quite some time. William Gruno behind Atkins at nose tackle seems to be Rochester. Who's the next big body recruit to fill that spot? Well, that would probably be the 6'2", 355-pound Robert Cooper. That's the FSU commitment right now at South Gwinnett High School. Robert Cooper can actually bench press 225 pounds about 36 times. I've actually have video of that. Raymond Toribio, Mr. Ramon, Kirby Smart has not announced the black jerseys game yet this year, but you can be certain they will announce it the week prior, maybe even the Monday or Tuesday prior to the game. Tom Bowman, I just answered that question for you, sir. Jason Bunch, hey, thanks for your question. Aaron Kleppinger, I mentioned in the Luke Ford story that he's watching Naughta's lack of playtime this year. Is that a concern for him given Kirby's stance that playtime is related to effort in practice? Really what he's watching is how much Georgia feeds the ball to his tight ends. I tell you what, Luke's a really smart kid. He's one of my favorite interviews in the 2018 class, and what he does is he will watch the teams that he's in consideration for every Saturday. He'll either watch them or he'll DVR them, and he'll go back and watch them on Sundays. And he does watch tight end distribution of catches. Georgia's stats, he told me, is kind of right in line with where Alabama's are at. Michigan has kind of fed the ball to its tight ends a whole lot more than anybody, but that was much as the case last year and the year before when they were trying to recruit Isaac Nauta. And I would say that what Luke has also noticed, though, is the amount of 3 tight end sets that Georgia, Michigan, and all those schools use. Tom Lavelle, question there, sir. Do you want to know how many videos I've done in total or how many videos I've done for 2018, 2017, 2019, that sort of thing? Chewing ice is bad for my teeth. Yep, Dylan, you're probably right there. But I'm the guy that does not get cavities. I want to knock on wood there as well. Lance Edwards, will Georgia continue to steal guys from Bama? I don't know if steal's the right word. I think that Georgia will just arm wrestle them and win out. Steve Jeffcoat, I could see a commit coming within the next, I could see 2 commits coming within the next 3 to 16 days. Yeah, Ramon, good point there. Good point there at all. I think Kirby said that the 5 OLs on scout team are scholarship players. That's incredible. It's impressive nonetheless. But I tell you that scout team quarterback Stetson Bennett IV is really ripping up that top-rated defense as well. Scottie Pittman, Florida players. I am Groot. That's fun. That's funny. Kelvin Allen, thanks for joining. Brian Jones. Well, we're going to announce the trivia winner for the tickets sometime tomorrow. It's going to be at least after 12 because we're going to take all correct answers for the question up until 12. And guys, that's a good segue for me. Reminder, you want 2 tickets to the Georgia-Florida game? Here's what you have to do. I want you to call upon your vast experiences of our Wednesday night live camaraderie, talking to each other on every Wednesday night, and discussing all things Georgia football and Georgia recruiting. And I want you to tell me, in your own words, what was your favorite Wednesday night live memory? Just make a good rep and a decent pass and give me an answer there without trying to copy off everybody else's homework in the feed. And if you can deliver a genuine answer, and we'll be kind of open-ended on that. Every correct response or every significant, legitimate response will be entered into a drawing for 2 tickets to the Georgia-Florida game. We have 2 tickets to that game thanks to those great people at Kroger. The Kroger symbol right there. Got to point that out. They do so many great things for Dawg Nation and allow us to kind of pour some sugar and have the sugar falling from the sky on all you great Dawg Nation Live and DawgNation.com readers and viewers. And for that, I am very grateful. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys at the Dog Walk on Saturday. Hope everybody had themselves a good Wednesday night live. I'm Jeff. For everybody here on the DawgNation.com staff, we truly appreciate you for everything you do and helping us grow as a site and being a part of your daily lives for 3 years now. So have yourself a good Wednesday night and have yourself a good week, and we will see everybody in Athens Town on Sunday. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you hanging out.